Hi, my name's Seth, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross Global just released a few days ago, and I've been playing the Japanese the Japanese version religiously. So, I know a thing or two about this game. Today we are going to be talking about all the characters that are available as of right now in Grand Cross. I'm going to be giving you guys a little tier list to help new players see who the better characters are, so that you would have a better time, or who you want to reroll or something like that. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so the thing is, I've already made my tier list, but this is just to save time, so I can just explain each and every one of them in great detail. So up here in double S tier, I have Meliodas, or Green Meliodas, and Blue King. So Green Meliodas is a very high damage dealer, and he has a counter that coincides with his unique. So his unique ability is that the lower health he has, the higher his crit chance is. Why I say he's one of the best characters in the game is because his counter deals more damage the lower health he is, and he also gets more crit chance the lower health he is. So that means if he takes damage when he's at low health with his counter up, he's going to counter like 200% of that damage plus his crit, which means like 50%, no, actually 100, around 120% more damage, which makes him a monster. Green Meliodas is definitely one of the strongest units in the game as of right now. He can beat any PvE stage, and in PvP he's not as good, but you can definitely find ways to make him work. So next here is Blue King. So Blue King has a Petrify and a debuff remover. So his Petrify, basically what it does is, when it's a 2-star or second tier, or whatever you call it, level 2 card, he basically can make a unit stop like moving for one turn. So he can basically make that unit useless for one turn. So in PvP, he is one of the best units in PvP. He is basically essential for any team. He is also a very good PvE unit because he can make almost any PvE unit stop moving for a single turn. And in PvE, you can see how many skills each enemy would be using. So you can just petrify the one who's gonna use the most skills, or petrify whoever is about to have their special or ultimate up, So Blue King is the best PvP unit as of right now, and one of the better PvE units in the game. So that's why I put him at double S tier. So in S tier, we have Blue Diane, Green Jericho, Red Hauser, Red Arthur, SR Red Elizabeth, and SR Green Gustav. So Diane, why she's so good is that she's a free unit in the game along with Blue King. So they both come with, you get them for free just by playing the story. So that's why you can get her really easily. Blue Diane is a very high damage dealer. She's a free unit in the game, and she is very easy to level up. You can use her in almost any scenario since she has an AoE attack as well, which makes her a very good unit to farm with. Next we have Green Jericho. So I didn't put her at double S tier, but Green Jericho is the highest damage dealer in the game by far. I've seen her in okay, so in the Japanese version there are these things called super bosses, and I've seen Jericho do millions, and I'm not even exaggerating. She can do millions of damage, from 1 million to 3 million damage easily. She can easily do 1 million to 3 million damage. So that's why she is up here. Red Hauser is very easy to get. He is a gold coin shot unit, which means you can just get a bunch of duplicate SR people, and then you'll get coins. These coins can be exchanged, 20 of them, for these units that are on sale in the gold coin shop. So he is very easy to obtain. You can get him without even rolling for him. So he basically has 2 AoE attacks, one that does pierce damage and the other has 2 times critical rate, which is pretty good. But the second one does not do as much damage as the first one. The pierce damage definitely does more. So Hauser is one of the best units to farm with. He can desolate anything. He is very good PvE unit, one of the best PvE units. And then next we have Red Arthur. So Red Arthur, the reason why he's up here is because he has a buff that just increases all basic stats. So basic stats means HP, defense, and attack. So Red Arthur, his 1-star ability can buff a single ally's basic stats by 20%. But once you get it to 2 stars, or if you connect them and you make it a tier 2 scale, it makes it so that your entire party has that 20% buff for his for all basic stats, which is really good. And not to mention his 3-star buff actually removes debuffs and can't be debuffed for 3 turns, along with a 30% boost to all basic stats, which is why he is a very good buffer unit. You can use him for PvP, you can use him for PvE, all sorts of stuff. Alright, so this might be a bit controversial to why she's up here, but her unique, basically when you take damage, you heal 10% of it back. And she doesn't even have to be in your party. Yeah, she is a support unit. So in your party, you can have 4 units total, 3 in your main party and the 1 in the back who comes in after one of your main people die. So you keep Red Elizabeth in the back in the support slot. Any character in your team who gets damaged will heal 10% of that damage back every turn. She is a very good support unit. You will survive anything for like longer than usual because of her unique. So this makes her a very good support unit. Alright, so Gustav. So as of right now, he is the only person in the game who has a freeze. The other one would be this red Merlin right here, but she's still not in the game, so I can't put her up there. But as of right now, Gustav is the only person who can freeze people. So you know how Petrify for Blue King is, if it's 1-star, it only does damage. It doesn't stop them from moving. It doesn't freeze them, basically. Gustav, his 1-star freeze can stop them completely, like just a 1-star freeze. And the thing is, when it gets to 2 stars, you can freeze them, but if you attack right after the freeze, it does 80% more damage. And once it hits 3-star and you freeze someone, if you attack after you freeze them, you deal 200% damage. So freezes in this game are very good. It is not too essential in PvP. It's more of a PvE thing where you want to like one-shot bosses and stuff like that. He is definitely the guy for you, because Red Merlin doesn't exist yet. Red Merlin deals a lot more damage than Gustav, but because she's not in the game, we're just gonna put Gustav up here. So an A tier. A tier is more of a bias graph. It's to people that I've used more so than like all the other people down here. So an A tier, Matrona Diane. Okay, so despite what I said, I haven't used Matrona Diane all that much, but she is a very good damage dealer. She has very high crit chance. She will be critting like almost every attack. Okay, and Blue Bond. So I think Blue Bond is not such a great unit. The reason why I put him in A tier is because he's very good for the red demon, the fat red demon, if you know what I'm talking about. That is a raid boss, and you can do it with a team of 2, so you and your friend can do it, or you and some random person could do it. He deals so much damage to that one boss that I had to put him in A tier. Green King, Forest Guardian King, he is also in the same tier for the same reason. The second one, which is a gray demon, the winged gray demon. This gray demon is weak against King, and this King does a ridiculous amount of crit damage, and I mean so ridiculous that it can one-shot the Gray Demon, both its health bars, very easily. Green Elizabeth, she is actually very good. I think she is a very underrated unit. She heals for a lot, and her ult, basically, or her special, I don't know what to call it, but her ultimate is she heals all your party members and gives them 2 ult stacks. So she is basically a monster at building ult gauges and or specials, whatever you want to call them. Essentially, you'll be ulting a lot when you have this Elizabeth in there. She is very good. She is very good, and she also starts off with 2 of her ult stacks already. That is her unique, which means that you can ult really fast once the battle starts. So she is very good, very good. Blue Slater is also in the same reason to why these two are in here. He is very good for the red demon. He does ridiculous amounts of crit damage, I'll tell you that. Yeah, he just does a ridiculous amount of crit damage. Same with Matrona Diane, and yeah, that's the only reason why he's here. He just does a lot of crit damage. So reverse Elizabeth. So the first time I saw reverse Elizabeth, I thought she was pretty bad. But in the Japanese version, she got buffed, and now she's really, really good. And she is already buffed in the global version, so you don't have to worry about her not being good in the beginning, because she is actually very good. I found so much success with this Elizabeth. So her attack skill is very good with the solidify effect, because the more debuffs you have on yourself and the more you take off and getting those solidify stacks, the more damage she does, which is very good. So on to the next SR. It is Green SR Gila Thunder. So the reason why he's so good is because that he has a very high attack buff, and he is the only one in the game so far who has this attack buff. So he gives all allies, so 1 star is 20%, 2 star is 40%, and then 3 star is 60% damage. So that is very good. He is a very good unit for raids and stuff like that, just because he can buff all your allies. So yeah, that's the only reason why you would use him. You could also use him in PvP because he gives a lot of defense in that. That's his unique ability. Red Hawk and Elizabeth is same with these three. These three is because she is very good for the red demon raid, because the red demon raid can be petrified, so you would use her with like King. It can also be frozen. You can use her with Gustav as well. So what she does is that if she doesn't take damage for a turn, she gets 10% more damage, which basically stacks infinitely. So as long as she doesn't take damage, she will like keep stacking 10% more attack, which is very good. So all you have to do is keep freezing people and then have her like stack up her skills, and then once you think you have enough attack buff stats, then you just and then you attack, and then you deal like 100,000 damage or like something like that. Cain. So Cain should be used in every single raid. If he's in the party, everyone in your party just deals 10% damage to in every raid. They just deal 10% more damage, which is a lot. So Cain is a good support unit. You just keep him in the back for all your raids, and yeah. So Golgius is in the same same thing as Cain. You get 10% bonus to your attack related stats, which is crit damage, crit chance, attack, all that stuff. That is what his unique ability is, and he doesn't have to be in the battle too, so he is also a good support unit. It is only for raids though, so it is the same thing with Cain. I don't know if Cain does more damage than Golgius, because Golgius is 10% to all attack related stats, and then Cain is just 10% damage altogether. So I do not know if they are the same, if they do the same amount of damage, or if Cain does more, or if Golgius does more. I don't know. So that's why they're both together. They're both very good for raids though, nonetheless. The only better side about Golgius is that he's a rare unit, which means that he's very easy to like level up and, you know, max out his level and all his stats. So that's why he might be slightly better because he's easier to, you know, rank up and such. Next is Red Jericho and Blue Jericho. So both these SR units are very good because their unique is to give 10% attack related stats to all red units. So this Jericho is red and she'll give attack 10% attack related stats to all red units. So that is why she is a very good support. Same with Blue Jericho. She does the same thing but for blue units. So 10% attack related stats to blue units. And then next we have Leone. So he's the only R unit that has this the same buff as these two. So he has 10% attack related plus 10% attack related stats to green units. So yeah, Leone is very good. Don't neglect him. Get him up there. He has a very good unique. Next we're going to B tier. B tier is very situational. Like you would rarely find people using these people, but they have some worth. They do have some worth. Alright, so first up we have Blue Gother. So the thing is, he's good at the very beginning of the game or later on in the game where you just need to farm material. So like you're farming for food, you're farming for awakening material. He's good for just wave clearing. He's just good for one-shotting easy enemies. He does not do too much damage. He's just there. He's just good for farming, basically. Green Hellbrum, it is only good when you're running it with this guy right here, because buffs that give attack related stats stack with buffs that just give attack damage. So that's why Gila Thunder and Hellbrum's buffs do stack together, which makes them do a crazy amount of damage. They are essential for raids. Just keep that in mind. You need these guys. You need these guys. So yeah, Hellbrum is only good with someone else's Gila Thunder, basically, or your Gila Thunder. Next is Elaine. Elaine is very situational because her unique is give 10%, was it 15? I don't know. It's just more HP to fairy units. But the thing is, you wouldn't really need that with Hellbrum or was it these kings? It's very situational. She's alright. She's alright, but you would almost never use her because the thing is, there's only 2 fairies in the game. You can't use both kings in one party, that's why. So you can only use one or the other, and there's only 2 fairies, which means you'll only be buffing these 2 people when you can have, like, say Leone, who can buff both of them plus another unit like Elizabeth or something like that. Like, there's no fairies in the game. There's not too many fairies in the game, which is why her unique is gone to waste. She is not that great. Her skills are alright. They don't do any damage though, which is why she's not that great. Alright, so next, a lot of people really seem to think this Elizabeth does a lot of AoE damage. The thing is, she does, but it doesn't. It's just for farming, I feel like. Like later on, when you get further into the story, this unit becomes very obsolete. Like she'll deal very little damage later on. So she's only good for the early game, but it's the same with all of these units right here. They're very good early on, but like they don't shine later on into the game. So next is this Gila right here. She heals. She has a heal, which is alright. She also applies ignite stacks, which means all of your people do 10% more damage. That is pretty decent. The thing is, she does like no damage. She barely heals and does barely any damage, which is why she is down here. She's good for the early game if you're wanting to wave clear, because her attack skill does do AoE damage. So she's alright. She's not bad, but she's not very good either, which is why she's in B tier. Blue Meliodas is just a bargain green Meliodas. He will counter with just his base attack, and it only and it just doesn't do too much damage. The thing is, he's an SR unit, so it's really easy to get his ultimate raised up to the max, out of like 6 out of 6, and so he is not a bad unit, but he's not that great either. He's just a bootleg green Meliodas is what I think he is. But the thing is, I think he can counter multiple times in a single turn. So if he gets hit like 3 times, he can counter 3 times. The thing with green Meliodas is that if he gets countered, or if he gets hit once, he will just do a lot of damage with a single counter, but it only lasts for 1 attack. But this one lasts for like the entire turn. So every time he gets attacked for that entire turn, he will be countering every single time, which is alright in a sense, but he just doesn't do too much damage. Like he does counter a lot, but he's kind of weak at the same time. So, and then next is Red Slater. I've seen a lot of people use Red Slater for very like situational certain stages where you want to apply a lot of debuffs and stuff like that, but he's not that great. His debuff skill is very good though. It's actually like he makes it so that one person cannot use like any skills. They're not frozen, they're not petrified, but they cannot use any skill at all. So that's what makes him pretty good. But the thing is, his damage is so bad that he's just a person who debuffs a single unit. That's it. So that's why he's not too great, but he's not the worst, is what I'm trying to say. Next is Weinheit. So Weinheit, same with Arthur, they're both pretty decent. So Weinheit is a very good farming unit. He has 2 skills that he can use to attack with, and they're both AoE, so it's really easy to farm with him. I use him to farm all the time. Blue Arthur here has 1 AoE skill. It's alright, it doesn't do that much damage, but these 2 will be very useful in a raid, in a boss that comes later on, so it wouldn't be too bad to invest in these 2 now. Same with Malamos, he gives HP, so it just makes all your blue people more tanky. Alright, so in C tier, the bottom of the barrel. So let's see here. I'm not gonna explain too much to why these guys are bad, but both Fat Kings are terrible. They're not used for anything. I've never seen them used for anything. They are bad. So Red Gil Thunder is a tank, but in this game, tanks don't matter. You just need 2 damage dealers and the healer, or like 1 damage dealer, 1 buffer, and 1 healer. That's all you need. You don't need a tank. So especially if you have green Meliodas. If you have these 2, both of them, you want green Meliodas to take damage. The lower health he has, the more damage, right? But the thing is, he Gale Thunder taunts the enemy so that all attacks go straight to him. So him and Meliodas in the same party makes Meliodas basically useless until Gale Thunder dies, which is not very good. Hendrickson is just a bad unit. I guess he's good for surviving a long time, but he does not too much damage. His skills are very bad. I'm just gonna place him in C tier because I've never seen him used for anything at all. He is basically useless. You shouldn't use Hendrickson. So Red Gila she feels like the same unit as this Gila, the blue Gila. But the thing is, this one has a heal and has an AoE ignite stack. This one is just, she's supposed to be a damage dealer, but she doesn't do damage. So I don't really know why she exists. So that's why she's down here. I can't see any use for her. Grielmore, same thing with Gale Thunder. He's a tank, and he also has an attack skill that does 0 damage. So there's no reason for him to even exist either. He's just a tank. Tanks are really bad in this game. Diane, I don't know what she's supposed to be. She is also never used in anything, so that's why she's down here. Dreyfuss, also used in nothing. Same with Bond. All of these people are just not used in anything. All the other rare people, these guys right here, are also very bad. The only real thing I can see, like the only thing I can see them being used is as assists. So like, not supports where they're in your party but in the back. I meant assists, like they're just the little person that you stack upon people. So judo or whatever, he has an assist with Bond, so he's in our unit. You can easily rank him up, but he's just gonna be an assist for Bond essentially. And same with all these guys. These guys are so bad. Like they're useless. These guys are just bad. Oh, this Bond's in the game. I forgot about him. Okay, you go right here because you're fucking trash too. So this Bond's bad. This Bond bad. Okay, so there's one more Bond that's not in this list. He has a nunchucks. It's a venture Bond. He's not in this list, but he is almost not used. He's like basically not used in anything either, so I'll put him in C tier. So these units will come out later. If you know the anime Tensei Slime, or the time I got reincarnated as a slime, these are the collab units. These four right here. So they're alright. They're not essential, but they're a cool novelty collector's item if you can get them. So in the Japanese release, these 6 units were already in the game in the Japanese release. These these 4 right here are coin shop units, and these 2 are just normal units that you have to roll for. So if I would have to rank them now to see if you want to roll for them, or if you want to save your gems and stuff to roll for these guys, I'm just going to say that you should definitely save your rainbow coins for this Gother right here. This Gother is the best unit in the entire game. He can rank up skills, and that's all you need to know. The thing is, ranking up a skill is so good that he's essential for every single party. He is good in PvP, he is good in raids, he is good in PvE, he's good for everything, basically. So that's why he is going to be the top of SS tier. He is the best unit in the game. Next, I'll put this Demon Meliodas up in S, because he is a very good damage dealer. You know what? No. He is a very good damage dealer. He does ridiculous amounts of damage, which is why he is up in here. You can clear really hard stages with him just because he does so much damage. Okay, next is this Bond. So a lot of people seem to think that this coin shop Bond is very good because he has a snatch and an AoE attack. People use him for PvP a lot, but I think he's very bad, because the thing is, you need a tier 3 snatch. You need to have a 3-star snatch for him to be of any use. Without that tier 3 snatch, he is so weak. He is so goddamn weak that he shouldn't be used in the PvP. Like, if you don't get a 3-star snatch, he is basically useless. So instead of using a team that's reliable, and if you use Bond, okay, so the thing is, if you use Bond, he will win like 50% of the battles, which is not good when you can have a consistent team that wins you like 80% of your battles. So that's why Bond is down here. He is good for farming, but that's the only use I see out of him. He is good for farming, but you have to get very lucky for him to be of any use in PvP. Next is Green Coin Shop Merlin. Green Coin Shop Merlin, she will come out very soon along with the other coin shop units. She will be in S tier. She has a very strong shield. It's her perfect cube if you watch the anime. She can also take off ult gauges, which is very good in some cases in PvE, but she is very good in PvP, that's for sure. Her unique is you start off with 1 ult gauge for every single person in your party, which is crazy good. Ult gauges are so essential in PvP, it's just crazy. So she is very good. Okay, these 2 units will be coming out very soon, I'm pretty sure. This is the Freeze Merlin. I would put her up in S because she's very good in both PvP and PvE. I think Merlin, the green Merlin, is a better PvP unit, and I think red Merlin is a better PvE unit, but they're both in S tier. I feel like they're used so often that they're very, very reliable. Hellbrom is a very good unit also in PvP and PvE. He is also going up in S tier. I feel like he does the job well. He does a very good job at taking off all gauges and has a petrify. So he's like half of this Merlin and half of this King. Having Hellbrom, King, and Gother, that is the core main like simple PvP team. You get these two essentially for free, and then Hellbrom is the only person you would have to roll for. So, but if you can get all three of these people, you can essentially keep petrifying and making people useless until you have ult. Before you have ult on either one of these people or even Gother, and then you just keep ulting them, which will, you know, they'll eventually die. All right, so I think I've ranked everyone who's in the game so far. If you have any like differences with my opinion, then please leave a comment down below. This has been my 7 deadly sins tier list. Yeah, I've been sitting here talking for like 40 minutes straight, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content, 7 deadly sins content, it's gonna be coming soon. But if you want, what's it called, if you like JRPGs, all that stuff, then come subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, have a great day.